have to create the blueprint of what we want in the mental realm to see it projected outwards, because it's going to correspond. The law is always in operation. Anything you water, anything that's food for your manifestation, for your desire, in its fulfillment, in the imaginal realm, in the mental activity, I don't care whether it's through affirmations, stats, visualization, it will correspond. Your reality will correspond. You need to just accept that fact. You can't dip your toe in it and be like, I don't know, I'm not too sure about that. You can't be doing that. You cannot be double-minded about this stuff. You just can't be. There is no room for ambivalence there. Otherwise, how can you on one hand believe in manifesting and on the other hand you don't believe it? It doesn't even make sense. You have to go all in. You have to go balls in. You just have to. Even if I was to give you an affirmation, right? I don't have enough trust that it can hit you the way it hits me. This is why I always say you need to customize your own affirmations. You should always lean on yourself for your own thinking. So important, guys. I don't care what method you use to feel the wish fulfilled. You believe it's the right one for you. Make sure it's one that follows the path of least resistance, meaning make sure it's one you enjoy, make sure it's one you can sustain. I don't care if it goes against someone else's method, someone who's got all the amazing, wonderful things that you want. If you are 100% convinced in the absolute certainty and truth of your own method, you do not need any sustaining force outside of your own conviction, because then you are missing the whole point of building a strong rapport and relationship with your power and how it can affect the circumstances around you. You don't want to tarnish or taint that rapport by listening to other people. You need to listen to your own inner voice. So in the YouTube community, when people say it's not about attaining anything outside of you, attaining anything in the 3D, I used to be so confused and think, the fuck do you mean? Why the fuck am I doing this technique then, right? It is a fact. You need to feel these things. I'm going to try and explain this the best I can. So let's say you're manifesting an SP. You need to identify what are the qualities or characteristics of the version of me who has my SP. What's changed? What's changed from this version of me to that version of me? Obviously, it has to be some changing character, right? Use your imagination. Your inner voice is constantly trying to chat to you. It's constantly trying to inform you. Is it that they are more trustworthy of this partner? Guess what? You create an affirmation around that then. You say, my partner is so trustworthy and makes me feel so safe. This is how you come up with affirmations. You have to repeat them, guys, because you're essentially building a prototype, a spiritual prototype of the manifestation. You are doing this in imagination and it's a continual effort. You're familiarizing yourself with it by living in the wish fulfilled. You are building somewhat a spiritual relationship with the version of you who's gotten this desire. An example I want to give from my life of this spiritual prototype is before I even started to make YouTube videos, I was on GarageBand and recording myself talking about the law of assumption, law of attraction, manifestation, etc., etc. I was not recording it for anyone, for anyone's enjoyment, okay? I was just doing it for myself. And you might find this bizarre, but I actually rewatch my own videos because I trust my own judgment so much. That was a step I voluntarily took, I guess you can say inspired action. I took before hopping on YouTube, before trusting myself enough to hop on YouTube and talk about this stuff confidently. I did that first as a preemptive step to this. I was also teaching it to somebody in my life. That stuff was a precursor to this. Just as how you living in your imagination in relation to whatever scene you create is a precursor to your manifestation. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot give something or create something that you don't create or give to yourself first and foremost internally. You are manifesting yourself. Now, does it always have to be this end scene that's so dramatic? No, it doesn't even have to be dramatic. You have to understand the background where some of these teachers like Neville, where they come from. Neville was a dancer, so everything was a little bit more, everything was just a little bit more flamboyant in the way he spoke. In the beginning, when you repeat an affirmation, especially robotically, it's going to feel so fucking foreign to you. Your brain's going to actually want to fight it, okay? It's normal. don't stop. This is why you do it in a monotonous tone, because you want to give it a feeling of indifference, like you don't actually care, like you're nonchalant. And then eventually, within a week or two, your imagination will start to work with the new thoughts. It's going to start to chuck ideas at you, imaginal scenes at you, okay? You have to persist through that inner conflict that you initially have. You just have to. Your affirmations are good enough already. Stop questioning them. The price that you pay for your manifestation is persistence. You have to persist. You just have to. You have to commit to yourself, because it's like God can provide you the food, but He's not going to cook you dinner. You have to do it yourself. You have to do something. You just have to persist. I need you to understand that persistence is what creates destiny. You can only connect the dots after. Oh guys, and I'm recording this again because I know someone's going to ask me, how do you get rid of the doubt? Let me tell you something. Every time I feel doubts come up, you know what my go-to affirmation is? Shall I tell you? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I have built such a strong rapport with the ideal version of myself that I just don't give a fuck to listen to this version of me that's outdated. You will become better at telling it to shut the fuck up the more you adhere and listen to this new version of you that you're creating. It's going to get easier. I promise you it's going to get easier. Think about things that, let's say things that give you anxiety today. How do you deal with it? What do you usually find yourself saying? Use that. You just have to do it. You have to buckle down. And if it's willpower you are struggling with and discipline you are struggling with, you need to engage in activities that will train you to become more disciplined, because you're trying to make this easier for yourself. And what do you have to lose anyway? It's only going to make you a better person?